Hello again, folks. It's Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo from SCAA, Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous. And this isn't a Star Citizen video, it's a War Thunder video. War Thunder is probably the game I spend the most time in these days. I just love the battles that I've been seeing in them, and recently they have an event that we'll talk about a little bit at the end of this. You can see I have a few premium tanks here. And the first one over there is the M8A1, which is a tier 1 tank that they are giving away right now for completing a number of tasks. So let's jump right into the action. Now, the American tank tree was just introduced recently, and they were introduced with some light tanks, the heavy tank line springing off of the Sherman Jumbos, and the medium tank line that's pretty much made up of a lot of Shermans and a couple of other tanks thrown in for, well, not thrown in, of course, they're all historically accurate. This particular tank is historically accurate, however, the version of the tank that I'm driving right now was not the one that was most prevalent. I'm laughing because of the guy that just went off on his side over there. This tank is armed with a 75mm cannon in the front. Now, a lot of these were fitted with howitzers, and that's pretty much how they were seen in action. They saw action in 1941 to about 1942-43. They were replaced, augmented, complemented by the Wolverine, and then the Hellcat and the Jackson. This is America's first really mobile tank destroyer. And in this particular battle, it so outclasses everything out there, and I pretty much get myself into a position in a little bit that's just pretty stellar. And I guess it's gonna be a boring game from then on, except for the fact that I kill a lot of people. I think I get about 10 kills in this game. Now, the big deal about this is that it is built off of, I believe, the M3 Stewart chassis or M3A1 chassis, and essentially you have 4 crewmen, a tank driver, a driver, machine gun operator, the commander, and the gunner, and the commander, I guess, is doing the loading. As you can see here, there's nothing on the battlefield right now that's not going to get penetrated by this particular gun. 75mm. It is overpowered. I guess the one thing that I can say is that at this tier, everything else has a lot more ammunition than you do. And over here, of course, I'm finding out, alright, where is that sweet spot? And there it is. Bang, got him. Right in the side. The ammunition, you get about, I guess you could hold about 50 rounds total. And if you're not used to the tank anatomy, you're going to go through them pretty well, pretty fast. I only have 2 types loaded right now. You could have 3. I don't take any high explosive with me. I have armor piercing, which is probably all I needed. I should have filled everything up with that, because everything here has less armor than what my penetration is. And when I start going over to the second rounds, the second types of rounds, I'm going to start over-penetrating, which means instead of having fragmentation of parts in the tank or pieces of metal flying around to take out the crew and systems, I'm just going to be penetrating through one side and out the other. Nonetheless, I sit in this space for quite a long time and rack up the kills. Now, to get this tank, you have to complete quite a number of tasks. The achievement or the event started on the 24th of December, and you have to kill a bunch of tanks in different different countries or different types, like American Tier 1, German Tier 1, Russian Tier 1, Russian tank destroyers, the German tank destroyers, and you have to get quite a number of kills, like 40 in each one of those different types of tanks. At the end of each achievement or each task, there'll be a very, 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 very small chance that you'll get this tank. Now, the tank is a tier 1, and I think it has a 2.3 or 2.7 rating, and we'll see that in a little bit. But it is so outclassing everything. I mean, it's got a 75mm gun, which I think is the biggest for any of the tanks in this tier. It's got a 50 caliber machine gun, which could pretty much penetrate a lot of the tanks that are coming against you. In fact, I think at one point in this battle, I run out of ammo and just say, you know what, let's give me as a kill to somebody. And I just go out there and I start taking them out with my machine gun until they actually blow me up. But one thing I could say is sniping with this tank is actually pretty cool, and I'm trying to find that sweet spot. This guy is on an angle which is pretty decent. I should be pointing a little bit further down and to the left, but at that angle I probably won't penetrate very well. And I probably should have lifted up just a little bit. I'm wasting a lot of ammunition on this person. And still, I'm able to hit him at will. You know, he doesn't know where it's coming from because I pretty much have my hull down behind the mountain, and all you can see is the top of my turret. And although I have an open turret, it is a pretty solid turret at this tier. Oop, finally got him. And I think it was just from the sheer number of hits and taking out each one of the crewmen that I actually made it. I wish there were mods in this game that you could load so you could see like your kills as you're going. Leaving the tanks is pretty easy, but I messed that up also quite a bit. And there's going to be quite a number of people that are going to take pot shots at me here. This is definitely an overpowered position, and I've never played from this position before. It is a pretty decent hold down position. It doesn't seem like it is, but everybody else is down below you in kind of a it's kind of a bathtub in that area with ridges all around. And in order to take the A zone, you pretty much have to win a war of attrition against the other team. And having positions like this on both sides definitely helps. Whoa, just missing that guy totally. Now, World of Tanks was a fun game for me, and I definitely like it. But there are so many people that are much, much better than me, and I never really got into the group play that I wanted to. The few times I did play with my friend Oliver, I had a freaking awesome time at the game. But I didn't play very often with other people, and that is definitely something that I gotta correct in the future. War Thunder, though, I definitely want to play with other people, but it's definitely a game that you could play without other people because there's more open space, and there's more opportunity to play randomly with other people and then just team up with them. Like over here, I have this other gentleman over to the right, and myself, probably the only girl on the whole team. And I'm essentially running the show here. I gotta lift this up just a little bit, and maybe I'll get him right there. Let's see. Yep, got him. Look at that, right through the side armor. I think the biggest part of this game is actually learning where to hit each of the tanks. See that? And that is going to be the hardest thing for newbies to get. So if you're not playing this game right now and you think that you want to play it in the future, the first thing I would do is go into just the beginning of the game where you see all your tanks or aircraft in the hangar, and you open up the X-ray view and study where each of the components is in the tank. And really what you're trying to do is trying to hit the ammunition to get a ammo rack explosion, or possibly be able to take out the crew like I did there. Essentially that was a crew shot. Just bounced it off the inside of the top of the turret, and the fragmentation killed everybody else in it. But ammo rack or fuel storage, you light somebody on fire twice, and the third time they're generally going to die. That's because at certain ranks you could actually get fire extinguishers, not at certain ranks, after a certain while. You could get fire extinguishers that will extinguish the first 2 times that you're your tank goes on fire. Now, this game right here, I think that at some point, I think I'm getting close now. Yeah, I have 4 rounds left. That is it. Look at that, 4 rounds. And I have 4 rounds left, and I have a couple of tanks over here that I have to deal with. And there goes a wasted round. And I'm not realizing this at this point. I'm like, alright, I got enough rounds. Nope. Why am I wasting my rounds on that guy? So here I am, down to my last 2 rounds. I put one in him now, missed him. I now have 2 rounds left. 1 to reload, and 1 left in the pipe. So I got him. And I should have 1 round left. And I don't. All I have is machine guns left, and that is it. All I have. So this game could have gone a lot worse for me after this, but I'm sitting here going, I could just use my machine guns and try to take out the different aircraft. Of course, I have a 50 caliber, and that should do me very well. Here's a guy with the 250s over there trying to take me out, but his 20 millimeters of penetration are not going to penetrate the turret of this tank. He could get lucky and possibly get one over the mantle and into the helmets and kill one of my crewmen. That just doesn't happen. At some point I decide I'm going to go up and I'm going to get into my Avenger. Well, actually it's random. I don't get to pick the plane. After you get a certain number of points, you could actually jump into an aircraft and go in and do an air battle. So here I am in an Avenger, which is a beefy airplane and can take a lot of punishment. It's kind of unfair to put people on these. They should put them into glass cannons. And I've got 2, 3, 4. I got 3 kills, I think, on that one. Yep, I got 3 kills on that one. That was pretty impressive, right? And as long as I could stay alive, everything will be cool. I don't want to give myself as a kill to somebody else. You can see in the lower left-hand corner of the ticker, as long as it goes down to 1, yep, I am fine. And I didn't die to them before the ticker went out. You only get the airplanes for a certain amount of time. Alright. I think this is where I do my Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, or I should say Thelma and Louise impression, and say, you know what, I lived long enough, let's let somebody else have the day. And me and my 10 kills I believe I had at this point are going to go and do a suicide run. Let's get on it. Alright, we're going to try to get this dude, and it's not going to happen. We got an assist on something over there, I don't know how. I probably caused some kind of damage with this 50. Oh, I got some hits on that guy. And we're just going to go over here and try to get some hits. Ooh, we did not do that. Somebody else took that guy out. Looked like my machine gun set that guy on fire, but I'm sure it was somebody else. Nope, we're not going to be able to get him. And at some point, I'm going to run out of machine gun ammo too, because even that is limited. Which I freaking love, that you don't have unlimited ammo. Now, I am playing in arcade. I'm not playing in realistic. You can tell by the pipper. It tells where the shells are going to land. And pretty much that's because I waited for about 25 minutes to get into a realistic battle with this tank, and it didn't happen. You could see that we wounded a couple of people in there. But we're having the same problem with trying to penetrate him as they were having trying to penetrate us. It's just not going to work, and I'm just trying to push up against him so other people can get to him. I probably should have just gone through the soft armor and the side. I have taken out one of these with the 50s before, but in one of the anti-aircraft guns when 2 were firing at the same place at the same time. He's now hurt my turret ring, so I can't spin it around. And at some point I'm just going to stop, and I'm plumb out of bullets right now. There's nothing I could do. I mean, nothing. So I really just went in here to take their time, keep them away from the cap circle, give them something to shoot at, Nobody's seen this tank because there aren't a lot of them in the game. And there it goes. I was shot by an M8A1. Not so bad, right? And there he is. So let's go take our own M2 out. We're going to take the US Marine Corps one out. And this match shouldn't be on for that much longer. We really don't have a lot left to do. Pretty much we're looking for an area to call in an artillery strike, which we were not able to use with that tank. That tank as it is overpowered. If they give it artillery also, that would just be like a one-person stopping show. And there we go. The match is over, and let's go see how I did. And here we go. I ranked number 2. And that's kind of weird because I had 10 kills, 5 assists, 9 crits. Wow. Hits, I can't even read that number. It's like 60 something, or is that 50 something? I don't know. I had a ton of hits, that's all I know. Alright, I got a lot of medals and a lot of cash for that. That was pretty fun. So the M8A1 is a tier 1 tank destroyer. It's the prelude to what we're going to have in the future, and tank destroyers that we're going to see, such as the M8, and I'm sure the A1 will not be in the game. They'll probably have the T-18. They'll probably have the M8 with the 105mm Howitzer in it. And then they'll probably go to Wolverine, Hellcat, Jackson. And from there, I'm not sure, because from there things get a little bit vague. Tank destroyers kind of sort of disappeared from the American arsenal, although things like the T-28 were toyed with. I don't think they actually went into production. So here's a look at the tank on the outside. You can see all the different values. 75mm gun. We have almost 50mm of armor in the front, but our penetration is far more than that. So we can penetrate anything at tier 1. And if I pulled up the high explosive, if I get close enough, I could pretty much decimate a lot of the tier 1 tanks with high explosive rounds. But I wanted to use this tank in a sniping way. Let's take a look at the tasks that you have to complete so you know how to get there. Alright, so we'll pick that up in just 1 second. Here's where you find out the achievement. You go into your profile, click achievements, and click on Get M8A1. And here's all the tasks you have to do. Essentially, there's going to be a new task every day from the 24th to the 11th. And you have until the 12th to complete all the tasks. Now, after each one of these tasks, you'll get a slight chance to get the tank. And I mean slight, like it's really, 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 really hard to get this tank. I had to complete quite a number of them. I'm looking at the inside view of it at this point. You can do this with any tank, and you can see if another M8A1 comes up against you, you're pretty much toast. And for a lot of the other smaller caliber guns, they're high velocity. They're going to penetrate right through the sides. They're going to have a problem in the front, but there are some weak spots. So you are kind of a glass cannon, but at tier 1, if you find a nice place to hide and can snipe from across the field like I did, you're going to run the show just like I did in this game. Now, mind you, it did take me quite a number of games to get a really good one to show you here today, and that's mainly because I was being too aggressive in the tank. And the one time I'm not aggressive, where I was much more conservative, this time I did exceedingly well in it. And I hope that is a lesson to not just me, but to the rest of you. It is a tank that is amazing, but don't be too aggressive in it, even though you feel like you can. One thing I will tell you to do is definitely upgrade the driving skill of your driver. It'll help a lot. Alright folks, that's all I got. And with that said, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon.